Hello, today we will discuss detecting hidden interference and then its effect on wireless systems capacity. This video may be a little bit long, I think maybe longer than 10 minutes, and you need to have some of patience to watch to the very end because this RF, some of the RF concept is not so easy to catch up. And then in the end, I will show you the Excel tool on how to calculate the hidden interference and then the effect on the wireless system's capacity. Before we go into the details, we need to clear some of the basic concepts. First of all, let's recall the Shannon formula, which is to use to calculate the wireless system's capacity. Here is a C is the capacity, B is the bandwidth of the wireless system's channel. In the digital systems or in the 4G, 5G, some of the in some of the use cases, this formula may be not used to calculate the absolute capacity anymore. But for here, we just need to calculate the effect of the interference to the wireless system's capacity basically to calculate the how much percentage the capacity will be affected. So we still can use this formula for baseline calculation. Pay attention here. The signal to noise ratio is not in dB. It should be in linear. So if it's in dB, we need to convert it to a linear value, as showing in the next slide here. If you have a signal to noise ratio in dB, you convert it first to linear value. This is quite simple. And another concept we need to be clear is the if two RF power sum together, you can't sum them directly in dBm or dB watt. You need to convert to linear value first, then sum together. For example, if it's dBm, you put the dBm is in this way, and then dB watt in this way. So you convert to a linear value, you use this formula also, but of course you need to do some of the math here. For example, if we have a RF combiner here, and then there's two RF power input to the two input ports, and the output is here. So let's say, make it simple, we say the first RF power is 3 dBm, is 2 milliwatt. Second one is the same, is 2 milliwatt, 3 dBm. The combiner loss is 3 dB. So the output power should be calculated this way. It's 2 milliwatt. So P1 is 3 dBm minus 3 is 0. So 10 to the power 0 is equal to 1. Is same for this one. But you can't calculate this way. You P1 minus 3 plus P2 minus 3. So be 3 minus 3 equal to 0. And here P2 3 dBm minus 3 dB loss here equal to 0 plus 0 dBm. Then you convert back is 1 milliwatt. That's wrong. So put all these concepts in mind. We can discuss for the details. Then the next one, we need to know how to read the spectrum analyzer's power. In a spectrum analyzer, for example, if you read the value, you put a mark there, you read the value is minus 122 dBm. What is this value? This is not a real RF power. This is I saw quite a lot of RF engineers. They make this wrong. If you read the value minus 122 dBm or whatever value, you need to see what is RBW, the resolution bandwidth. For example, if the resolution bandwidth is 10 kilohertz, then the power in 10 kilohertz is minus 122 dBm. And then if convert to 1 kilohertz, is 10 dB lower. then is minus 132 dBm per kilohertz. And then the power in 1 hertz then become minus 122 minus this convert 10 log RBW, then here because it's 10 kilohertz, so it's 4 zeros, there's 4 zeros here, so you need to minus 40 dB here, then you become minus 162 dBm per hertz. We refer to the next slide for the some of the example. For example, this value, this real noise flow here is around minus 122 dBm. This value is the channel power in the bandwidth of 10 kilohertz. If we convert to a per hertz, then it's around minus 162 dBm per hertz. So this spectrum analyzer shows you here. Okay, this PAR is peak to average ratio is 3.51 dB. That means the peak to the average, the ratio here. And then now let's talk about the detecting the interference below noise floor. Okay, I don't have the real case to show here. I just draw a line, the red line here. Suppose this is the interference, and then suppose it's lower than the noise floor. So this interference here, okay, is around 8 dB lower. And then before this interference come in, the noise floor is this line, the meter in the meter. And if the interference come into the input port of this spectrum analyzer, the displayed value will be increased from the noise floor to somewhere here. For example, around minus 100 dBm. So if in a real case, we read this value, something the noise floor all raise up a little bit, but we don't know what is really a noise floor or is it caused by interference, then the noise floor rise up a little bit. So to do this, we need to put a dummy node in the input port. So then we record the noise floor here. Then we connect the input port of this spectrum analyzer to an antenna. Then we pick up the interference. So with this interference, noise floor, and the displayed value, we can calculate the interference value here. Let's see the formula we're going to do the calculation is here. Here, for example, the interference measured is a red line we show in here. Okay, and then here the displayed value. Okay, this CP is the channel power, so we always measure the channel power. The channel power, the spectrum analyzer SA display is the yellow line here above the noise floor. And then here, the CP SA preamplifier noise floor is the real noise floor here, the line in the meter. Okay, and here the SA and the preamplifier noise, that means the preamplifier can be on or off, because sometimes the noise is very strong, so your preamplifier, you just can't switch on. You can try with your spectrum analyzer. So here, the CPSA, CP channel power, spectrum analyzer, preamplifier noise floor is the spectrum analyzer noise floor, preamplifier on or off. So we use this formula to do the calculation. And then we are not going to discuss how this formula comes from. This should be an easier one based on what we just discussed, some of the basic concepts we cleared in the first few slides. So here we have some calculation examples. For example, the noise floor, then compared to the interference. What that means is For example, the first one, if interference is 25 dB lower than the noise floor, that means just now the red line is much lower than the noise floor. What the total noise will be rise up or increase is 0.01 dB. For a wireless system, if the noise floor increase a little bit, that means your sensitivity decrease a little bit. So the sensitivity degradation is 0.0 dB, 0.01 dB here. And then for some of the telco or vendor or the operator, their requirement is the interference must be 10 dB lower than the receiver's noise floor. Why they have this requirement? Because based on this requirement, you see the noise rise is 0.41 dB. That means the sensitivity is 0.4 dB degraded. So that means your system previously, your system sensitivity, for example, is minus 120 dBm. Now become minus 19.6 dBm. So to maintain the same quality, you need to increase the receive power a little bit to overcome the sensitivity degradation here. But for some of the vendor or operator, they can accept the interference the 6 dB lower than noise floor. That means the sensitivity will be degraded 1 dB. That means your sensitivity degradation they can acceptable is 1 dB. For example, if your original system, the sensitivity is minus 120 dBm, now become minus 119, minus 119 dBm. This is the sensitivity degradation, and how much this will affect the system capacity we are showing this slide. Here are some examples of capacity degradation due to the sensitivity degradation. At the cell age, for most of the telco vendor and the operator, they define the cell age at the signal to noise ratio of 8 dB. So you see, if the sensitivity degradation is 0.4 dB, which means the interference is 10 dB lower than the receiver's noise floor, then the capacity degradation is around 4%. And then in the near side area, for example, the signal to noise ratio is around 20 dB. Then the capacity degradation is around 2%. If the telco operator or vendor they propose the interference is 6 dB lower than the receiver's noise floor, which we discussed in the last slides here. Okay, that means the capacity degradation is around 1 dB. Then we check this here. At the cell age, around 10% capacity degradation will happen here, and the near cell area around 5%. So it depends how your operator or your customer, if you are the telco vendor, they can accept the capacity degradation. These two tables we discussed, this table and this table we discussed here, is not easy to understand. So you maybe watch this video again and again, then discuss with your RF expert to understand the concept behind. And basically, you just need to remember the Shannon formula and then how we calculate the RF powers from the decimal to linear value, how they sum together, and then you can understand the concept we discussed in these two tables. And let me show how we calculate the sensitivity degradation and then the capacity degradation. This is a tool I prepared based on what we just discussed. For example, here, the noise floor over the interference. If the interference is 10 dB, we just show in the slides, but this is the tool here we used to do the calculation. Then the noise increase and then the sensitivity degradation. Then based on this one, we can calculate the capacity degradation here. Okay. You see, just now we show in the slides also the same thing here. Cell age, 0.4 dB, sensitivity degradation will cause how much of the capacity degradation, and then if it's 1 dB sensitivity degradation, how much will cause from the capacity. This all formula here. And then something you may be noticed here, voltages are hidden here. This is basically the tools, the Shannon formula I used to do the calculation. So the left side, all the calculation is related to the right side here. But this tool, I'm not going to share in the in this video. If any of you really wanted, drop me an email. We can discuss the details. And then I think this is the what we should discuss today. Too much technical stuff will be confuse everybody. So if you like this video, please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.